Okay, so let's jump right in. We're
Yeah.
going deep on ways to fund STEM that, well, maybe aren't so traditional.
I think everyone is pretty familiar with how the government funds STEM.
Right, but what about this? Government money in STEM research has contributed to corruption, reducing the accuracy and authenticity of the research.
Wow. Strong words, huh?
Got me thinking, where else can funding come from?
Well, I can jump right in there. One really interesting thing that's happening is corporations getting way more involved. And it makes sense, right?
Oh, yeah, they need future employees, so.
It's like they're cultivating their own talent pool. I'm talking corporate sponsorships and partnerships and corporate training programs, things like that.
Can you give me an example?
Let's say there's this huge tech company and they decide to sponsor like a national robotics competition for high schoolers.
Oh, I see what you mean.
The company gets to work with these bright kids, maybe spot some future interns, and the students. They get mentoring, real-world experience. It's amazing.
Not to mention the scholarships some of these competitions offer.
Exactly. It's a win-win. Everyone benefits. And hey, there are so many ways for companies to get involved. Think about all the grants from philanthropic foundations that are pouring into STEM.
Oh, good point. I mean, everyone's heard of, well, probably a lot of foundations.
And they're putting a huge focus on access and diversity in STEM. So it's not just about funding research, it's about making sure everyone has a chance to succeed.
Right. It's about creating opportunities, especially for underserved communities.
Mhm.
Which makes me think, we often forget about the resources that universities and colleges already have.
Like what?
University and private endowments, for example, or alumni contributions.
That's a great point. These can be super stable sources of funding, especially for those big, well-established institutions.
Yeah, they can really rely on that money to support their long-term goals.
Absolutely.
Okay, but what really gets me excited are those grassroots initiatives.
Oh, you mean like nonprofit and community grants and all the crowdfunding that's happening? I love that stuff.
Me too. It's incredible how individuals and communities are taking charge of STEM education. I mean, have you seen those platforms like DonorsChoose? Teachers can basically post their classroom project, and people can donate money to support it.
It's like a direct line from someone who wants to help to a classroom that needs it.
I remember reading about a teacher who crowdfunded a 3D printer for her students. Can you imagine? It's amazing what people can do when they work together. And then you've got STEM competitions with cash prizes, which are like a double whammy.
What do you mean?
They encourage kids to learn, push themselves, but they also reward them for their hard work. Some of those prizes can be life-changing.
Oh, totally. And it's not even just about the money. These competitions give students recognition, mentorship, networking opportunities.
All the stuff you need to jumpstart your career.
Exactly. Okay, but there's more. We've got to talk about product sponsorships, advertising, and research partnerships. I mean, this is where things get really interesting.
Like a company sponsoring a research project that aligns with their business goals.
Yep. It benefits everyone. The company gets to be involved in cutting-edge research, and the researchers get valuable resources and expertise from the industry.
I think what we're seeing here is that there's a whole universe of possibilities when it comes to funding STEM.
It's really inspiring, right?
It is. From corporate giants to individuals, everyone has a role to play.
It makes you wonder what the future holds for STEM funding. If we move away from relying so much on the government, what will that look like? And what part will you play in it? That's something to think about.
Definitely food for thought. And that's our deep dive for today. Thanks for joining us.